If you guys are like me, then you love a good old Sean Chandler Talks about video. And today this video has been on my recommended for a while. I never got around to watching it. Why early 2000s CGI still looks better than modern movies. I have no idea why this is, and I'd love to hear Sean's take as an opinion that I really respect. And today we're going to be reacting to that video, guys. Please go show some support in the pinned comment description down below. Let's get started.
Why does CGI in early 2000s movies, pirates, films, Transformers look so amazing and realistic compared to most modern blockbusters?
And you're seeing a lot of conversations surrounding that nowadays, and something that because Transformers is one of my favorite franchises. Every single time that I go back and I see a Transformers scene, all I can think about now is like, wow, that really holds up, you know?
Is it a case of budget or talent of the people who do the CGI? Well, you're cherry picking like the two best examples and ignoring the very large number of equally bad examples.
That's a good point. Very good point, especially when it comes to the early 2000s. It depends on the movie. But the thing is, why do things like where it was so evident they put a lot of effort into it and they really tried, why does it actually look better than what we have in 2026?
So you can go back, I mean, you can look at The Mummy Returns and be like, yikes, look at the Scorpion King. He looks atrocious. There's no shortage of awful CGI.
You know what's sad about this now? Is like back in the day, something like this was super cool, right? But the problem is now, because it looks so bad in comparison, that I just go, oh my god, it looks like a PS1 game or something like that, and it takes me out of it, and I don't like enjoy it as much.
In the early zeros. But there are a number of these things where you go, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, why, despite technology getting exponentially better and having exponentially more experience of working with VFX, CGI, both on the VFX side as well as the director side, there's so much more, the tools are better,
Dude, everything's better. Everything's better. Why the hell is it worse? Is it just because, and dude, I hate using this word so much. I know it's so overused, but is it because like people are just focused on slop? They're just focused on pushing out quantity, and they don't take the time and the care into their passion, their stories. I don't know what it is. Maybe we need a director like with what we've seen from Avatar, where there's like every little ounce of bit and care put into every single little scene, every single little detail. Is that it? I have no clue.
Faster, we have more experience. So why on earth does Davy Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean look better than stuff that you're seeing in a Marvel movie? What's going on here? So this is, there's a number of different kind of things going on.
That's another example too that I forgot about. The Amazing Spider-Man. The CGI there was great. Tobey Maguire, I wouldn't say it was too great, but Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, that's when it really started. It looked great, man.
Some of it is that like because of the exponential growth of streaming and premium streaming, there's a huge taxing of VFX artists for most projects.
I guess that makes sense. I'm not too familiar with all of the anime studios, but I hear one about MAPPA, like their slow release schedule. But then again, why can't you just do something like MAPPA where it's like, okay, this show's coming out very slowly, but when it does come out, you guys are going to love it because we put every little bit of care into it possible.
In that if you're having to do Marvel movies and Marvel TV shows and The Boys.
Dude, that was so bad.
And Lord of the Rings. And there's just, you don't suddenly have exponentially more VFX artists, and there's always still people that are just the best at it and others that are mediocre at it.
I don't know. Is this just my ignorance speaking? But I feel like a lot more people would be capable of doing this stuff nowadays, at the very least through training. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have great experience and know what they're doing that would want to like work with studios and things like that. Why not just hire people? All of these studios could definitely afford it.
And now everyone's having to work overtime to try and get all these projects done.
So hire more teams, hire more people. Again, you'll still see it. If your products end up being like that good, you'll see great results.
Some of it, like with Marvel, the issue that you're seeing is that when you watch the movie, you're not seeing the 9th iteration of the VFX. What you're seeing is the 9th iteration of the scene. They wrote a scene, they shot the scene, and the VFX people developed it, and they went, we're going to reshoot it. And they reshot it, and so then we have another version, they reworked it. And so instead of the VFX artists build...
Hang on, Ant-Man 3 Quantumania undergoes reshoots a month before release? What? I didn't know that. You know what? I completely believe that. That would explain a lot.
building out this awesome looking effect, they're starting over from scratch and having to redo it.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you do it with a bunch of care put into it? Why wouldn't you take the time? I get it, like a month is quite the crunch time, but for most things, I would imagine that they have a lot of time to do that.
Multiple times because they keep reshooting the movie. There's a trickle down of the let's fix it in post thing. That
I don't know, man. I feel like that's almost, I don't want to say unacceptable, but that's where my gut's kind of going to. For example, if you guys don't know anything about me, I'm also a voiceover artist. I've had countless people come to me where it's like, hey, I revised this sentence, can you do it? Does that mean I go half-ass it? I understand it's infinitely more work actually using CGI, but I have a job to do. I'm not just gonna, best Marvel Studios upcoming MCU movie will undergo reshoots, and then like kind of slip that in. You know what I mean? I would never even consider doing that, and I feel like it's part of the job. I feel like that should be the job for people doing this as well.
all of a sudden, instead of the VFX artists perfecting one VFX shot or effect or whatever, one character design, they're having to constantly redesign it. And then likewise, when you're doing so much stuff with green screens or like, on in game, they can do whatever they want. The budget was, we're going to make this thing amazing no matter what. But like, they didn't have the design of the time travel suits. And so
you would think for like a franchise, for something as big as Marvel, for something as big as the Avengers, you would give them whatever budget that they want to do. Because if the movies are like, if the Avengers movies were to ever get the hype that they used to have, then it would bring in the crazy amount of profit. Like, look at the love and care they put into something like Zootopia, for example. All you need to do is take your time. All you need to do is really, really, really work on everything possible.
Wearing motion capture suits for all of that. So all of a sudden, costumes which you can build are now a VFX that someone's having to make. That's an example of something that just taxes the system so that there's less time for the things that are trickier to do. Today's video is brought to you by...
Oh, no. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Oh my God, it goes all the way to here? I respect the grind. It's just, I thought I was excited to get 9 minutes of just movie yap.
/ Chandler. Just better at understanding filmmaking and VFX and merging those two things together in their minds. And so on set, they just know better what needs to be captured. They know how to manage their time right. They know how to speak camera guy. They know how to speak VFX guy.
Doesn't all of this seem like just very, very fixable things and easily fixable things? I don't mean to speak from a place of ignorance, but it really does seem like that.
And they understand the process well enough that they shoot the shots, they frame the shots, everything in a way that the VFX artists have everything they need to knock it out of the park.
Okay, and now I see the issue. I didn't know that was a thing, and now I see the issue when he was talking about doing reshoots and things like that. I feel like you'd still be able to make it work, and it's only going to get easier with time with AI technology. That's going to be very simple. We just took a look on the Clenday Channel. Oh, you guys got to watch a video on the Clenday Channel. Links down below, link tree at the top of the description. You guys have to go check out this crazy new video generator that we were talking about. Oh my God, is it nuts, dude?
There's little things of like having reference footage on set and shooting things in shadows so that you can cover up some of the weaknesses in certain VFX. And there's all these sorts of things that you can do that make the VFX artist's job easier. Some of that is not reshooting everything. And some of that is just shooting it right the first time on set.
Now I'm thinking, now my mind's going to entirely different ballpark with this thing. At what point is it going to get that simple for AI to do where you wouldn't have to worry about these types of things? You wouldn't have to worry even like what the actor's wearing. You could just go, hey, swap whatever, I'm sorry, if his name, Benedict Cumberbatch? Swap Benedict Cumberbatch's suit with Doctor Strange's suit, and then it would be that simple.
And there's people who are just better at that. They just have a higher level of competency. And then why like...
But you can find people like that. I'm sure you can find people like that. There's only been more people interested in this work as time has gone on throughout human history.
We talk about movies looking bad these days. Dune looks amazing. because Denis Villeneuve understands the whole process.
That's true. I can get behind that one. Dune does look really good. Avatar looks great in my opinion. I haven't seen the new Avatar movie, but I'm sure the effects are phenomenal in that one.
And he thinks and operates on a different level, and he can operate it and do that. And you think of like a lot of these Marvel movies, they bring in someone that just did an indie movie, and they know how story works. But it's like they got to trust the VFX people for this. They have to trust people over here to do that. They've never worked on a production of this scale and size before.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm confused about this whole thing. Why don't you, like, if you're a big studio like a Marvel studio, you're all probably connected, right? Have that person shadow an entire project. Is it just a training issue, or am I completely ignorant here?
And they don't really have the clout to be like, I don't think that's a good idea. Why don't we do this so it'll look better? Like you're stepping into, suddenly you're the CEO of a $250 million production as part of the studio that's been around for 20 years, and you're the new guy showing up, and you're going to tell them how to do VFX even.
And that's actually a really good point. I can see, oh, that's actually a good point. This is why I love Sean's content, guys. And again, please go show him. If you're not familiar, which I'm sure that you are if you're a movie channel, pin comment description down below. You go check out the channel. It was actually the inspiration for this specific channel right here. I wanted to mold a channel kind of like his. He's very good at I respect his opinions on this stuff, and I never really thought of that. It makes sense. It would be very difficult for a guy to come in and start making those types of demands.
No, you've never done a VFX movie before? Even stuff like that causes issues in the system. So there's a lot of different things going on. It's so frustrating because they should be so much better now because the tools and experience are so much beyond where they were 20 years ago.
And AI, again, if I want to edit this scene, replace Sam with Megan Fox there, it literally is that simple.
I think one final thought is that for a long time, people were afraid of VFX. They were afraid of CGI.
Why?
Because it was new, and a lot of people didn't know how to do it. They didn't know where the limitations were.
Really? That was a conversation people were having? Huh. I grew up with it all coming up, so I wasn't around for those conversations.
And audiences were new seeing it, so some of it didn't work for people. And there were a lot of bad examples of bad CGI, and people would call it out. And so there was a...
You know what's good? You know what is acceptable bad CGI is when you have an entire movie that's animated in bad CGI. Then it's like nostalgic to look at.
Certain fear that made you spend more time trying to do it right.
But why wouldn't that be? You sit down and you try to do it right on the get-go no matter what. You're making a movie for a company.
More time thinking about staging, frame. What do you need to do to be able to pull this off? If we want Davy Jones to look awesome, what do we need to do? And we're not afraid of VFX anymore. We're not afraid of CGI anymore.
Yeah, now we're all afraid of AI. And now that's going to change things. And the thing is AI, and I hate to say it because I'm very, very, very worried about job loss. AI might be able to do this better, and we might never have to worry about these types of things again. We'll just have like a period between like 2015 and 2026, where maybe I'll give it till 2027, 2028. We're going to have a period with then where it's like, oh my God, CGI was bad, but now look how great it is with AI.
And people are used to it. And so there's a way in which you just kind of take that for granted and kind of do, we can fix it in post. We'll just do that with CGI, throw it in front of a green screen. Let's just see what happens. And it's all the little things all along the way of the way you choose to shoot things, what you capture, that can make it so much easier or so much more difficult for the VFX people.
That's the thing that I learned from this video and I didn't realize about is that type of stuff. I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but it's not something that occurred to me when I think about this topic.
One of the key ones being having a locked script from the beginning so that the VFX people are developing early on for the script and you stick to the script. So the VFX are the 9th, 10th iteration.
Yeah, I never really thought of that either. I could only imagine. And again, that makes so much sense with something like Ant-Man. A month before? Holy.
Of one thing, not the iterations are on the script and the story and the character design. Thus, it's the first iteration of the 9th iteration of the character. Most of these...
Yeah, that was a really good conversation, man. It was a little bit eye-opening for me. But if you want to talk a little bit more about movies, then why don't you check out this video on screen? YouTube thinks that you'll like it the best. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Take care, everybody.